The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stood silent as the three most powerful beings in the known galaxy stared down at the small human delegation. Captain Lee Jae-won kept his face calm as he looked up at the massive alien representatives. To his left sat Ambassador Park Min-ho, an older man with gray hair who had spent 20 years dealing with alien politics. On his right, Dr. Kim Soo-min adjusted her glasses and made notes on her tablet. The Valorian Emperor towered above them all. His golden armor gleamed under the bright lights, and his forearms moved as he spoke. "The human problem has gone on too long," he said in a voice that echoed through the chamber. "Your species has been in our galaxy for 50 years. You trade with our enemies. You refuse to choose a protector. This ends now." Next to him, the supreme commander of the Keth hegemony nodded his massive head. His gray skin looked like stone, and his red eyes glowed as he stared at the humans. "We have been patient," he rumbled. "Too patient. You humans think you can ignore the natural order. Every species must serve one of the great powers. That is how the galaxy works." The third alien, representing the crystalline collective, spoke in a voice like breaking glass. Her body looked like living crystal, and light danced across her surface as she moved. "We three have ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years," she said. "We decide who lives where. We decide who trades with whom. We decide everything. You humans act like you have a choice in this matter." Captain Lee Jae-won stood up slowly. He was not a tall man, but he carried himself like a soldier. His black hair was cut short, and his brown eyes showed no fear as he looked at each alien, in turn. "With respect," he said in perfect galactic standard language, "Earth has always followed galactic law. We have never attacked anyone. We have shared our technology freely. We have helped settle disputes between other species. What exactly is the problem?" The Valorian Emperor laughed, a sound like metal scraping metal. "The problem is that you act like equals. You are not equals. You are a young species with no real power. You have maybe 300 ships in your entire fleet. We have thousands. Each of us could crush your homeworld without breaking a sweat." Ambassador Park Min-ho spoke up. His voice was quiet, but firm. "We have never claimed to be your equals in military might," he said. "We have only asked to be treated with basic respect. Is that too much to ask?" "Yes," said the Keth commander. "Respect is earned through strength. You have shown no strength. You negotiate instead of fighting. You talk instead of acting. You are weak, and the weak serve the strong. This is the way of the universe." Dr. Kim Soo-min looked up from her tablet. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but now those eyes were hard. "Interesting," she said. "You see our preference for peaceful solutions as weakness. You see our willingness to talk as cowardice. You see our respect for life as a flaw." The crystalline alien's voice rang out. "We see reality. Power rules the galaxy. We have power. You do not. Therefore, you will submit to one of us, or you will be made to submit." Captain Lee Jae-won exchanged a look with his two companions. Something passed between them, something the aliens did not understand. "And if we refuse?" he asked. "Then we will teach you the price of defiance," the Valorian Emperor said. "We will blockade your trade routes. We will seize your colonies. We will show you what happens when the weak try to stand against the strong." The human captain was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was still calm, but there was something different about it. Something that made the temperature in the room seem to drop. "You know," he said, "we humans have a saying. We say that politeness is not weakness. We say that courtesy is not cowardice. We have been very polite for 50 years. We have been exceedingly courteous." Ambassador Park Min-ho nodded slowly. "We have been model galactic citizens," he said. "We have followed every law. We have respected every boundary. We have never raised our hand in anger against any species." Dr. Kim Soo-min closed her tablet with a soft click. "We have been the perfect neighbors," she said. "Quiet, peaceful, helpful when asked, never causing trouble." Captain Lee Jae-won looked up at the three alien rulers. "But you mistake our good manners for fear. You mistake our peaceful nature for helplessness. You think that because we choose not to show our teeth, we have no teeth to show. The Keth commander leaned forward. Are you threatening us, little human? No, Lee Jae-won said. I am explaining to you why your plan is a mistake. You see, we humans have been polite because we chose to be polite. We have been peaceful because we wanted to be peaceful. We have followed your rules because we believed in order and law. But apparently you see these choices as signs of weakness. The Valorian Emperor's forearms moved in what might have been a shrug. Your words change nothing. You have 3 days to choose which of us you will serve. If you do not choose, we will choose for you. 3 days, repeated the crystalline alien. Use them wisely. Captain Lee Jae-won bowed slightly to each of the 3 rulers. It was a polite bow, respectful but not servile. We will indeed use these 3 days wisely, he said. We will consider your offer very carefully. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Ambassador Park Min-ho turned back to the alien rulers. There is one thing you should know, he said. We humans have another saying. We say that every courtesy has its limits. We say that even the most patient person will eventually run out of patience. Dr. Kim Soo-min added, We have been patient for 50 years. We have been courteous beyond measure, but patience, like all things, can be exhausted. The 3 aliens watched as the humans walked toward the exit. Just before they reached the door, Captain Lee Jae-won stopped and turned around one last time. Oh, and one more thing, he said. His voice was still calm, still polite, but now there was steel underneath the silk. You might want to ask yourselves why a species that you think is so weak has been allowed to trade freely throughout the galaxy for 50 years. You might want to wonder why no one has ever successfully attacked a human ship. You might want to consider why every species that has tried to cheat us in trade deals has quickly reconsidered their position. He paused at the door. You might want to think about why we have been so very, very polite all this time, because I assure you, it was not because we had to be. The door closed behind the humans with a soft whisper. In the great hall, the 3 most powerful beings in the galaxy looked at each other with the first tiny seeds of doubt beginning to grow in their minds. But they pushed those doubts aside. After all, they were the rulers of the galaxy. They had the largest fleets, the most advanced weapons, the strongest armies. What could 3 humans possibly do against such power? They would soon find out. 2 weeks had passed since the meeting at the Galactic Council. The 3 alien powers had grown tired of waiting for Earth's answer. They decided to send a message that would make their position clear. Admiral Choi Woo-jin stood on the bridge of what looked like an ordinary cargo ship. The bridge was clean and simple, with basic controls and standard merchant equipment visible everywhere. His crew moved around him with the casual efficiency of people who had been hauling cargo across the galaxy for years. Sir, said Lieutenant Kang Jin-woo from his position at the communications console. Long-range sensors are picking up multiple contacts. 300 ships, mixed fleet composition. They're dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of our solar system. Admiral Choi nodded calmly. He was a man in his 50s with graying hair and the steady manner of someone who had spent his life in space. Any identification? Valorian heavy cruisers, Keth battleships, and crystalline destroyers, reported the sensor officer. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. The message is simple: surrender immediately or face the consequences. Around the bridge, the crew continued their work without any sign of panic. They checked cargo manifests, updated shipping schedules, and monitored engine performance. To anyone watching, they looked like merchant sailors doing their daily jobs. Captain Han Yuna, Admiral Choi said into his communicator. You're up. Several million kilometers away, Captain Han Yuna sat in the pilot's seat of another merchant vessel. The ship was called Soul's Pride, and it looked exactly like what it was supposed to be, a mid-range cargo hauler designed to carry manufactured goods between star systems. Han Yuna was a woman in her 30s with short black hair and the kind of confident smile that came from years of successful trading. Copy that, Admiral, she said. Soul's Pride is moving to intercept. The alien fleet watched as a single, human cargo ship approached them. To the aliens, it seemed like either the greatest act of courage or the greatest act of stupidity they had ever seen. One small merchant vessel against 300 warships. The Valorian fleet commander opened a communication channel. Human vessel, you are ordered to surrender immediately. You are outnumbered 300 to 1. Any resistance will be met with overwhelming force. Captain Han Yuna's voice came back calm and cheerful. Good morning, everyone. This is Captain Han Yuna of the merchant vessel Soul's Pride. I'm afraid you've entered restricted space without proper clearance. I'm going to have to ask you to turn around and head back where you came from. Laughter echoed across the alien communication channels. 300 ships, and this woman thought she could order them around? Human, the Keth squadron leader, rumbled. You have 10 seconds to surrender before we demonstrate why your species should learn to show proper respect. Well, said Captain Han Yuna, I tried to ask nicely. On her ship, warning lights began to flash. Cargo bay doors opened to reveal rows of missile launchers. The ship's hull began to unfold like a flower, revealing armor plating and weapon systems that definitely did not belong on a merchant vessel. The engines, which had been putting out the power signature of a simple cargo hauler, suddenly blazed with the energy output of a military dreadnought. Soul's Pride to all vessels, Han Yuna announced. You were warned politely, Admiral Choi. Permission to educate our guests? Permission granted, Captain, came the Admiral's voice. Try not to break too many of them. We want them to be able to go home and tell people what they learned today. The transformation was incredible to watch. What had been a simple cargo ship was now clearly a warship that could go toe-to-toe with anything in the galaxy. But even more shocking was what happened next. All around the alien fleet, other merchant ships began to reveal their true nature. Cargo haulers became destroyers, transport vessels unfolded into cruisers. Mining ships revealed massive weapon arrays. Within minutes, the alien fleet found itself surrounded by 200 human warships that had been hiding in plain sight. The crystalline fleet commander's voice crackled across the channels. This is impossible. Our intelligence shows you have maybe 50 military vessels in your entire fleet. Captain Han Yuna laughed. Your intelligence is correct. We do have 50 military vessels. These aren't military vessels, these are all civilian ships. Cargo haulers, passenger transports, mining vessels, research ships. Every human ship is built to do two jobs, its regular job and defending itself if necessary. The alien fleet tried to fight back, but they quickly realized they were completely outmatched. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, their weapons struck with surgical precision, and their defenses held against everything the aliens could throw at them. Within 20 minutes, half the alien fleet was disabled, their weapons and engines destroyed, but their life support systems carefully left intact. Attention, alien fleet! Admiral Choi's voice boomed across all channels. This is Admiral Choi Woojin of the Earth Merchant Marine. You came here to demonstrate your strength. Instead, you have learned something about ours. Your ships are disabled, but not destroyed. Your crews are alive and unharmed. Consider this a lesson in the difference between strength and cruelty. The remaining alien ships began to retreat, but Captain Han Yuna's voice stopped them. Before you go, she said, there's something you should understand. Every human ship you've ever seen in your space has been exactly like these. Every cargo hauler that's delivered goods to your worlds, every passenger transport that's carried your citizens, every research vessel that's explored your systems, all of them. For 50 years you've been surrounded by our fleet and you never knew it. Lieutenant Kang Jinwoo added to the transmission. We have 15,000 vessels operating throughout the galaxy. Cargo ships, transports, miners, researchers, explorers. All of them armed. All of them ready. All of them have been politely going about their business while you've been making plans to conquer us. The Valorian commander's voice was shaking now. Why? Why hide your strength? Why not show us what you were capable of? Admiral Choi's response was gentle, almost sad. Because we hoped we would never need to. We hoped that if we were peaceful and respectful, if we traded fairly and helped our neighbors, if we followed your laws and respected your borders, we could all live together in peace. We hoped that kindness would be met with kindness. Captain Han Yuna's ship was folding back into its merchant configuration. We were wrong. she said. You saw our politeness and decided it meant we were weak. You saw our respect for the law and decided it meant we were afraid. You saw our preference for peaceful solutions and decided it meant we had no other options. The alien fleet was in full retreat now, their damaged ships limping back toward hyperspace. But the human voices followed them. Go home, Admiral Choi said. Tell your leaders what you learned here today. Tell them that Earth has been courteous for 50 years, not because we had to be, but because we chose to be. Tell them that our merchant ships are not helpless targets. Tell them that our colonies are not undefended settlements. Tell them, Captain Han Yuna added, that we asked nicely for 50 years. Tell them that we followed all the rules, respected all the boundaries and tried to be good neighbors. Tell them that we did this because we believed in peace. And tell them, Lieutenant Kang Jinwoo's voice cut through the static, that we just gave them a very gentle reminder that courtesy has limits. The last alien ship disappeared into hyperspace carrying news that would shake the foundations of galactic politics. Behind them, the human fleet was already returning to its normal activities. Cargo ships resumed their shipping schedules. Research vessels went back to their experiments. Mining ships returned to their asteroid fields. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity had been playing by different rules all along. They had built their entire civilization to be both peaceful and prepared. They had chosen to be polite, but they had never chosen to be helpless. The three great powers were about to learn that there is a vast difference between choosing not to fight and being unable to fight. Earth had just given them a very gentle lesson in that difference. The next lesson, if needed, would be considerably less gentle. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within days, every major civilization had heard about the merchant fleet incident. The story grew with each telling, but the basic facts remained the same. Humanity had revealed that their entire civilian fleet was actually a hidden military force. Director Oh Seung-oh sat in his office on Earth, reading reports from intelligence agents throughout the galaxy. He was a thin man with sharp eyes and the kind of mind that saw patterns where others saw only chaos. For 30 years, he had been building the most comprehensive intelligence network the galaxy had ever seen, and now it was paying off. The reactions are exactly what we predicted, said Dr. Bae Heejin, sitting across from his desk. She was a military psychologist who had spent years studying alien behavior patterns. The Valorians are angry and embarrassed. The Keth are confused and worried. The Crystallines are trying to figure out how we fooled their sensors for so long. Director O nodded as he read through the reports. And the smaller civilizations? They're asking questions, Dr. Bae said with a small smile. Questions like, if the humans have been hiding warships as cargo vessels, what else have they been hiding? And maybe we should reconsider our relationships with the big three powers. Commander Nam Do-hyun entered the office without knocking. He was a man who moved like a shadow, and his job was to know things that others tried to keep secret. The three powers have called an emergency meeting, he reported. They want answers about our capabilities. They're demanding that we provide detailed information about our fleet strength and defensive positions. Director O laughed. And what did we tell them? Ambassador Park Min-ho is handling the response, Commander Nam said. He's being very helpful. He's providing them with complete and accurate information about our official military fleet. All 50 ships exactly as they requested. Dr. Bae smiled. I assume he's not mentioning our other assets? Why would he? Commander Nam shrugged. They asked about our military fleet. The Merchant Marine isn't military. The Colonial Defense Forces aren't part of the fleet. The research stations aren't ships at all. He's giving them exactly what they asked for, and nothing more. Director. O opened another file on his desk. Speaking of research stations, how are our guests on Science Platform 7 doing? Very comfortable, Commander Nam reported. The crystalline reconnaissance team that tried to infiltrate the platform last week is enjoying our hospitality. They seem surprised to discover that our defenseless research station has enough firepower to level a city and enough defensive systems to withstand a direct assault from a battle fleet. The platform in question orbited a gas giant in a system that most aliens considered a backwater. To anyone looking at it from the outside, it appeared to be exactly what it claimed to be: a small scientific research facility studying atmospheric dynamics. The dozen humans aboard were all genuine scientists doing real research. What the aliens had not expected was that those scientists were also highly trained Special Forces soldiers, and that their research equipment included some of the most advanced weapons and defensive systems in the galaxy. "The infiltration team is being treated well, I hope?" Dr. Bay asked. "Of course," Commander Nam said. "Dr. Kim Young-ho is giving them the full tour. They're learning all about our atmospheric research, our gravitational studies, and our defensive capabilities. I think they're starting to understand that when humans build something, we build it to last." Director O pulled up a holographic display showing the galaxy. Thousands of small points of light marked human installations throughout known space. To most observers, they looked like the normal expansion of a trading civilization. Cargo depots, refueling stations, communication relays, mining operations, research facilities. "How many of our installations have been investigated since the merchant fleet incident?" he asked. 47 so far," Commander Nam replied. "The results have been educational for our visitors. The mining station in the Kepler system turned out to have enough manufacturing capacity to build a battle fleet. The communication relay in the Vega system was found to have sensor arrays that could track ships across half the galaxy. The cargo depot in the Centauri system has defense systems that could hold off a siege for years." Dr. Bay pulled up her own files. "The psychological impact is exactly what we wanted," she said. "Every revelation makes them question what else they don't know about us. Every discovery makes them wonder how long we've been planning this. They're starting to realize that what they thought was human expansion was actually the largest military build-up in galactic history, hidden in plain sight." Director O nodded. "And the best part is that we never lied to them. We told them exactly what each facility was for. Mining stations mine, research facilities research, communication relays, relay communications. We just never mentioned that they also serve other purposes." A soft chime indicated an incoming priority message. Commander Nam checked his communicator, and his expression grew serious. "The Crystalline Collective has decided to escalate," he said. "They're sending a battle group to one of our research stations. They want to capture it intact and study our technology." "Which station?" Director O asked. "The atmospheric research platform in the Titan system. They think it's an easy target because it only has 12 humans aboard." Dr. Bay checked her files. "That would be Dr. Song Jiho's facility. What's his background?" "Former Special Forces commander, served in 3 classified operations, expert in zero-gravity combat and advanced weapons systems," Commander Nam read from his tablet. "His team includes 2 former intelligence operatives, 3 weapons specialists, and 4 engineers who designed most of our defensive systems." Director O smiled. "So the Crystallines are sending a battle group to capture what they think is a helpless research station, but what's actually a fortress manned by some of our best soldiers." "That's correct," Commander Nam confirmed. "And Dr. Song knows they're coming. He's been tracking their approach for 2 days. He's quite looking forward to the cultural exchange." Dr. Bay made a note in her file. "This should provide excellent data on crystalline military tactics, and it will send another message to the galaxy about the true nature of human civilian installations." Director O stood up and walked to the window overlooking the city below. Millions of humans went about, their daily lives, working, studying, raising families. They looked peaceful and ordinary. But he knew that every one of them had basic military training. Every apartment building had emergency defenses. Every school was built to serve as a fortress if needed. Every factory could be converted to weapons, production within hours. "The aliens made a fundamental error," he said quietly. "They assumed that because we chose to be peaceful, we were incapable of being otherwise. They thought that because we preferred negotiation, we had no other options. They looked at our civilization and saw weakness where they should have seen restraint." Commander Nam joined him at the window. "The 3 powers are starting to understand their mistake. Our intelligence reports suggest they're beginning to realize the scope of what they're facing. But they're not ready to back down yet," Dr. Bay added. Their pride won't let them admit they were wrong. They'll keep pushing until they've learned the full extent of our capabilities. Director O nodded. Then we'll keep teaching them, gently, when possible. Less gently, when necessary. But we'll make sure they learn. Another message chimed on Commander Nam's communicator. He read it and smiled. Dr. Song reports that his research station has detected the approaching crystalline battle group. He's prepared to receive them for what he calls involuntary diplomatic negotiations. Excellent, Director O said. Please send Dr. Song our regards and remind him that we want the crystalline crews returned home safely. Enlightened, but safely. Of course, sir. As the three humans watched the peaceful city below, they knew that across the galaxy, the foundations of power were beginning to shift. For 1,000 years, the three great alien civilizations had ruled through strength and fear. They had never encountered a species that was both genuinely peaceful and genuinely powerful. That was about to change. Humanity had been patient for 50 years, polite for 50 years, courteous for 50 years. But patience, politeness, and courtesy all had their limits. Those limits were about to be reached. General Lim Tae-hyung's voice joined the transmission from a location that the display identified as Colonial Defense Headquarters. He was a man with steel-gray hair and the bearing of someone who had spent his life protecting others. The three powers have been testing our defenses for months, he reported. Probe attacks on our outer colonies, intelligence-gathering missions against our installations, attempts to infiltrate our communication networks. They thought they were preparing for an easy conquest. The display showed star maps with hundreds of red dots marking attempted alien intrusions into human space. What they discovered, General Lim continued, is that every human colony is fortified. Every mining station can defend itself. Every research facility is built to withstand assault. They found no easy targets because we have no easy targets. Moreover, he added with a slight smile, many of our mining operations near their homeworlds are actually monitoring stations. We have been watching their military preparations, tracking their fleet movements, and listening to their communications. For decades, the implications hit the alien representatives like a physical blow. Not only had humanity been hiding their defensive capabilities, they had been conducting surveillance operations throughout the galaxy. President Yoon raised her hand for quiet. We share this information not to threaten anyone, but to correct a dangerous misunderstanding. The three major powers have convinced themselves that humanity is weak and defenseless. They have made plans based on this false belief. They are about to act on those plans, and the results will be catastrophic for everyone involved. Ambassador Lee Kyungmin stood up in the Valorian section. If I may address the assembly, he said. The chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to him. The Valorian Empire has been a great civilization for over 1,000 years, he said respectfully. Your achievements in art, science, and governance are admired throughout the galaxy. But your military planners have made a critical error in their assessment of Earth's capabilities. He activated his own display, showing detailed schematics of human defensive systems. Every cargo depot in Valorian space is actually a fortress capable of blockading your major trade routes. Every communication relay is actually a sensor station that can track your fleet movements across multiple star systems. Every research facility is actually a weapons development center that has been studying your military technology for decades. The Valorian delegation looked stunned. Their most secure space was filled with human installations that they had never seen as threats. And every human trader who has ever visited your worlds, Ambassador Lee continued, has been gathering intelligence about your defenses, your capabilities, and your plans. We know the location of every major military installation in Valorian space. We know the composition and deployment of every fleet. We know the details of every defense plan. The same revelation was being delivered simultaneously to the Keth and crystalline delegations by other human ambassadors. The three major powers were learning that their most carefully guarded secrets had been open books to humanity for decades. President Yoon resumed control of the presentation. We share this, Information because we want to prevent a war that would devastate the galaxy. The three powers are planning a coordinated attack on human space. They believe they can achieve a quick victory through overwhelming force. They are wrong. Any attack on human installations will result in the immediate activation of our defensive protocols. Our mining stations will become fortress worlds. Our research facilities will become weapons platforms. Our cargo depots will become fleet bases. And our merchant vessels will reveal their true nature as one of the largest military fleets in galactic history. The chamber was completely silent. Now, representatives from minor civilizations were calculating what this meant for their own relationships with the major powers. If humanity could hide such capabilities for 50 years, what else might the galaxy's power structure be based on? False assumptions? But we do not want war, President Yoon said firmly. We want peace. We want to continue trading, researching, and building positive relationships with all civilizations. We want to solve problems through negotiation rather than force. We want to be the same good neighbors we have been for 50 years. However, her voice grew hard. We will not submit to conquest. We will not allow our colonies to be occupied. We will not permit our people to be enslaved. And we will not tolerate threats against our existence as a free civilization. For 50 years we have been courteous. We have been polite. We have been patient. We have followed every law and respected every boundary. We have done this because we believed in peace and because we hoped that others would learn to believe in peace as well. She looked directly at the three alien delegations. That courtesy is not unlimited. That patience is not infinite. That politeness has boundaries. You are approaching those boundaries very quickly. We strongly suggest that you reconsider your current course of action. We recommend that you step back from the brink of a war that no one can win. We advise you to remember that strength without wisdom is mere brutality, and that true power lies in knowing when not to use force. President Yoon's final words rang through the chamber like a bell. We have been polite for 50 years. We have been courteous beyond measure. We have been patient beyond reason. But courtesy, politeness, and patience all have their limits. You would be wise not to test those limits. The transmission ended, leaving the Galactic Assembly in stunned silence. The galaxy's power structure had just been revealed to be built on a foundation of false assumptions. The three greatest military powers had just learned that their planned victim was actually more prepared for war than they were, and humanity had just served notice that 50 years of courtesy was about to come to an end. Fleet Admiral Park So-young stood in the command center of what appeared to be a massive asteroid mining operation in the outer reaches of the Kuiper Belt. Around her, hundreds of technicians worked at control stations that monitored mining equipment throughout the solar system. The facility looked exactly like what it claimed to be, the central hub of humanity's asteroid mining industry. But Admiral Park knew the truth. This facility was actually the command center for Earth's hidden fleet, and those mining operations throughout the solar system were actually the largest shipyards in galactic history. Admiral, reported Commander Ko Sun-hee from her position at the tactical display. Long-range sensors are detecting massive fleet movements from all three major powers. It looks like they've decided to settle this once and for all. Admiral Park nodded grimly. She was a woman in her late 50s with short gray hair and the kind of calm presence that came from commanding ships in the deepest parts of space. She had spent the last 20 years overseeing humanity's most ambitious project, building a fleet that could defend Earth against any threat. Numbers? She asked. The Valorians are moving 8,000 ships toward our space, Commander Ko reported. The Keth are deploying 6,000. The Crystallines have gathered 4,000 vessels. Total enemy force, 18,000 ships, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Dr. Shin Yunbi looked up from her engineering station. She was a small woman with bright eyes who had spent her career developing technologies that most civilizations would consider impossible. That's certainly impressive, she said with a slight smile. How many ships do we have again? Admiral Park checked her display. Current count is 12,743 vessels of various classes, all hidden within our mining and research installations throughout the galaxy. Plus another 3,000 under construction in facilities that the aliens Still think our asteroid processing plants. General Lim Tae-hyung joined the conversation from his position at the Colonial Defense Board. And that's just the fleet vessels. We also have the 15,000 installations that can serve as fortress worlds, plus the merchant marine that they've already encountered. Dr. Shin laughed. So they're bringing 18,000 ships to fight what they think is a civilization, with maybe 300 vessels. But we actually have nearly 30,000 combat-capable units spread throughout the galaxy. Plus home. Field advantage, added Commander Ko. Every engagement will be taking place near one of our installations, which means our ships can resupply and repair while theirs cannot. Admiral Park activated the main display, showing the positions of human assets throughout the galaxy. Red dots marked enemy fleet positions while blue dots showed human installations. There were so many blue dots that some regions of the map looked almost solid blue. The irony, she said quietly, is that they could have had peace. We offered them partnership. We shared our technology. We helped mediate their disputes with each other. We asked for nothing except the right to exist as equals. General Lim pulled up his own tactical analysis. Their military planning has been based on several false assumptions. First, they believed we had no significant military capability. Second, they assumed our scattered installations were weaknesses rather than strengths. Third, they thought our preference for peaceful solutions meant we were incapable of effective military action. Dr. Shin activated her engineering displays, showing technical specifications for human weapons and defensive systems. They also assumed that our technology was primitive compared to theirs. Our research facilities have been developing weapons systems for 50 years. Our mining equipment includes manufacturing systems that can produce advanced military hardware faster than their dedicated military factories. Most importantly, Admiral Park added, they assumed that because we were newcomers to the galaxy, we were naive about galactic politics and warfare. They never considered that we might have been studying them for 50 years, learning their tactics, understanding their weaknesses, and preparing for exactly this scenario. Commander Ko highlighted several key star systems on the display. The Yi, 3 powers have divided our space between them for their attack. The Valorians are taking the northern sectors. The Keth are attacking from the east, and the Crystallines are coming from the south. They plan to converge on Earth and force our surrender. What they don't know, General Lim continued, is that every system they'll pass through contains multiple human installations. They think they're conducting a lightning strike through empty space, but they're actually walking into the most comprehensive defensive network ever created. Dr. Shin pulled up a simulation showing the projected battle. Each of their fleets will encounter resistance at every step. Our mining stations will reveal themselves as fortress worlds. Our research facilities will become weapons platforms. Our cargo depots will transform into fleet bases. And our merchant vessels throughout the galaxy will begin attacking their supply lines. Admiral Park studied the simulation carefully. Estimated casualties? She asked. If they refuse to surrender and push the attack to its conclusion, Commander Ko calculated, we project losing approximately 400 vessels and 15 installations. Enemy losses would be complete destruction of their attacking forces. And civilian casualties? Minimal on both sides, Dr. Shin reported. Our weapons are designed for precision strikes against military targets. We can disable enemy ships without destroying them, and our installations are positioned to avoid populated areas. General Lim added, our biggest challenge will be avoiding a larger war. If we destroy their entire attacking force, other civilizations might see us as a threat and form a new alliance against us. Admiral Park considered this. Then we need to demonstrate our capabilities without appearing to be conquerors ourselves. We need to show the galaxy that we can defend ourselves without showing them that we could conquer everyone else. Agreed, said Commander Ko. We should focus on disabling rather than destroying, on defending rather than attacking, on demonstrating restraint even while showing overwhelming force. Dr. Shin brought up another display showing human installations near alien homeworlds. We could also demonstrate that we've had the capability to attack their home systems all along, but chose not to. That might convince them that we're genuinely defensive rather than aggressive. How long until the first engagement? Admiral Park asked. Valorian advance scouts will reach our outer installations in 6 hours, Commander Ko reported. The main fleets will arrive within 3 days. Admiral Park activated the fleet-wide communication system. Throughout the solar system, mining stations began to reveal their true nature as massive shipyards. Construction bays opened to release fully armed warships that had been hidden inside asteroid shells. Defensive platforms unfolded from what had appeared to be simple ore processing facilities. All stations. This is Fleet Admiral Park So-young. Her voice carried to every human. Installation in the galaxy. Activate all defensive protocols. Reveal all military capabilities. The time for hiding is over. Across human space, the transformation began. Mining operations became fortress worlds. Research stations revealed weapons arrays that could devastate fleets. Cargo depots opened to release squadrons of hidden warships. Communication relays activated sensor networks that could track enemy movements across entire sectors. The aliens are about to learn, Admiral Park said quietly, the difference between choosing not to fight and being unable to fight. They are about to discover what happens when a peaceful civilization decides that peace is no longer possible. Dr. Shin monitored the activation sequences across the galaxy. All systems coming online, all installations reporting ready status, all fleet elements moving to defensive positions. Then let's teach them, Admiral Park said. Let's show them that humanity has been courteous for 50 years. Not because we had to be, but because we chose to be. And let's make sure they understand that courtesy, once withdrawn, can be very difficult to earn back. The largest military force in galactic history was about to meet the most comprehensively prepared defense network ever created. And humanity was about to show the galaxy what they had been politely hiding for 50 years.